Attached to Rising is one hell of a resurrection story. Originally a mysterious prototype for a new Metal Gear game, it was announced to great fanfare and confusion at E3 by Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. However, soon the project disappeared off the radar. While the world believed it was still in development, the real story behind closed doors was that it had been scrapped, due to the long development cycle reaching an impasse regarding the game's direction and style. Q Platinum Games, best known for their brain bleed action titles Bayonetta and Vanquish, who were handed the still in development parts. Their task? To rebuild it. To rebuild the cyborg warrior Raiden into something new. Something gelled, and Rising was re-announced soon after, a game of two worlds and two different disciplines. The story recalls a classic Metal Gear Solid plot, but in a somewhat simplified version. Gone are the great political and moral gestures, which are instead replaced with a singular direction towards action. The game circles the idea about fighting equating to fulfilling life's full potential, but never commits fully. Such superficiality rests easier on its central protagonist. While there's less depth to Raiden's character than what we've seen with Snake in the past, he's still an interesting lead, and the story of his progress and the clashes with other near-future fighters is strong in its telling. Watch the opening boss fight as Raiden runs up a Metal Gear Ray and tosses it across a city block and into a building, and it may have you checking the Kool-Aid. This is definitely Platinum Games territory. Character models are outstanding, although there's not quite as much detail in the surrounding environments. However, the big selling point of Metal Gear Rising is the Blade Mode, a mechanic that slows the action down and, in a most brutal and cynical manner, you get to choose which angle you want to chop your enemies to pieces from. This looks so good you'll swear you're watching a tech demo. The game's big and flashy combat sequences, but there's a lot of depth here, and learning the swordplay strategies is key to survival and your enjoyment. As with Bayonetta, or more recently DMC, it's all about learning your combos and the mechanic glue that holds them together. For Rising, the gameplay is designed around Zandatsu, meaning cut and remove. While most of your focus is on hack and slash mechanics, combo change, a blade mode mechanic slows the action down and allows you to chop your enemies apart. This is just the tip of the iceberg of this complex combat system. There are your traditional combos, weapon unlocks and upgrades, a parry system that will require you to time blocks against enemy strikes precisely to avoid damage and open them up to counter attacks. Between combat, Raiden navigates the environment with all the button holding ease of an Assassin's Creed title. But these moments are short, as the game swings very quickly back to precision swordplay. Yet, for all the pleasure derived from such a well-designed fighting game, there is one issue that compounds the fun, and that's the camera. You'll be constantly beset from all angles, and the camera's fixation with your back means you have to take camera pans into account during combat, and as a result, you're not able to react as quickly as needed. It also means that those moments when you could sneak past enemies is next to impossible, as you'll be struggling to see the whole battlefield. The result then is a game that falls short of expectations from both camps, but is solid enough to stand on its own two cyborg feet. As long as you put those expectations to one side, then you're left with a competent action title that's still worth your time and money, though more so if you're a fan of Platinum Games.